Hello YouTubers, what I'm showing you now is the Grant Evolution GT steering wheel. The steering wheel itself has not had any modification done to it, so I will just go ahead and set this aside. Now, the hub assembly itself, I have the screws in because I don't want to go ahead and put them in a small parts container. I'd rather just keep them within the hub itself. No modifications were done to this assembly, so I will set that aside also. You have your horn, the split ring, and the backing plate. The backing plate itself hasn't had any kind of modifications done to it, so I will go ahead and set that aside. Now, the split ring here, it came from Grant without any kind of smooth finish to the ends. It was just a sharp cut from whatever device they used to cut the split ring. So I went ahead and used my file and put a good radius on it. Then I did a light sanding to make it so all the grooves from the filing were removed, and it has a nice smooth finish. I didn't want any issues of being cut by this, nor did I want the horn button itself to have the plastic getting cut. This also makes the split ring aesthetically pleasing. Now, the horn button itself, it came from Grant without any kind of locking tab. Now, these are supposedly supposed to hold on to the backing plate with the pressure of the split ring. However, when it was put in place, the split ring just put pressure on these tabs and forced it outside of the backing plate. So what I did was I placed the horn button and everything. I assembled the steering wheel, and while it was assembled, I marked with the X-Acto blade exactly where the backing plate actually lines up with these locking tabs. So I had to go ahead and cut all 4 locking tabs and make some notches in there. So now it's actually a locking tab for all 4 of them, rather than it being called locking tab and not doing anything to actually lock it in place. So they all 4 actually lock on to the backing plate without the use of the split ring. However, when the split ring is actually placed within, the way it is now with the tabs, the pressure from the split ring actually forces the button onto the steering wheel with more pressure, which means that it doesn't have any play anymore. All the play has been removed once it's all assembled, and that is exactly what I wanted. I am trying to keep the Grant logo here from rotating, so that basically met what I was desiring out of the modification. And now I'll just quickly do a test fit of the split ring within the locking tabs, just to show how it actually spreads out a bit onto the backing plate and holds it in place. But once it's actually assembled, you need to be sure that the split ring is actually having the same amount of pressure on all 4 locking tabs, and make sure that the part that's actually split is centered between the 2. because if you have one that's a little bit longer than the other, you're going to have unequal pressure, and you're trying to make it so all 4 locking tabs have the same amount of pressure all the way around. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and take it apart and then place the horn button in the steering wheel itself, just as a little mock-up fit. In later portion of this video, I will be showing you how everything looks with the steering wheel assembled, along with the plate that I made for my accessory buttons. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this backing plate on, and then once I have it on there, I'm just going to go ahead and place the split ring on, and then you'll get the general idea of exactly what it looks like when it's actually on the steering wheel. When the hub is actually installed and the pressure from the screws are on the backing plate within the steering wheel and the hub, everything is pushed really close together. Everything is really tightly sandwiched. The horn button is actually able to slide in further, and that's what keeps it from rotating within the steering wheel. Right here I'm just going ahead and doing the centering of the split ring within the locking tabs. It doesn't really matter because I'm not going to be putting the actual hub on it. It's just a demonstration, but you got the idea. And right here you can't see any gap within the horn button and the steering wheel itself, and that's basically what I was showing you. Okay, YouTubers, this is the .125 sheet aluminum that has been primered and spray painted with the semi-gloss black spray paint to simulate the original look of the steering wheel. Hello YouTubers, what I am showing you now is the Grant Evolution GT steering wheel with the accessory button mounting plate. I'll now rotate the steering wheel slowly so you can see the different aspects of the steering wheel with the mounting plate on it. As you can see, the mounting plate doesn't have any holes drilled into it yet for the accessory buttons. I am going to be shopping for the design of accessory buttons that I actually want to put on to the backing plate prior to actually mapping out the locations for those buttons. And as you can see, as on the previous portion of the video, the horn button is in place and it is very tightly fitting. The way I did it, everything meets to the desired effects, and right now I'm just rocking it back and forth just so you can see how sturdy this is and how tightly fitting the button is within the steering wheel. Now I'm turning it again so you can see the actual logo while I'm rotating it. That doesn't really matter how much I rotate it, the button will not move. And obviously you're not going to be rotating the button like this while you're driving, but the point is that the button is stationary. It's not rotating at all. So with the normal wear, the normal use of the button just being pushed, it will not rotate. Of course, you can get it to rotate if you put a great amount of force into it, but I'm not trying to put any weight into this. It is only meant to be pushed to sound the horn. It's not some load-bearing item, so obviously it's not going to rotate with normal use. And that is the whole point. Well, there you have it.